Okidoki. There's been a few times on Twitter where I'll see an argument about who is the real main character of Dandadan, and because it's a shonen anime, occasionally you'll see people be like, it's Okarun, because we all know shonen anime means male protagonist. Honestly, this whole argument is kinda stupid. Momo and Okarun are both the main characters. Shows are allowed to focus on more than just one. But for argument's sake, let's say we do have to choose one. Who is the real main character of Dandadan? Well, it's definitely not Okarun. Okay, so why is Momo the true protagonist of Dandadan? Well, I could give you the lazy answer. Momo is the one that first appears in both the anime and manga, so obviously she's the MC. Or I could use the author himself and tell you that Dandadan was originally meant to just have Momo as the only main character. Okarun was a late-game addition to help pass serialization meetings, but even then, Yukinobu Tatsu clearly states that having Momo in the driver's seat was essential. So, video done, we can all go home. But that's kind of boring to end it there. So let's see if I can actually prove this dumb little argument by looking a little deeper. In episode 1, when Momo and Okarun both get caught by their respective ghost/aliens, we switch to Momo's perspective to see that, oh no, she's in trouble. These aliens want to Momo and rip out her uterus. Really bad situation. Now, luckily for everyone, Okarun has come to save the day. Cursed by Turbo Granny, he arrives just in time and starts ripping apart alien bananas with his teeth. Kind of a freak, not gonna lie. It kind of feels like we're setting things up for the classic hero saves damsel in distress, damsel falls for hero, happily ever after. We've all seen it before. However, Okarun actually gets defeated before he gets to the last alien. Which, first of all, what are you doing, Okarun? I guess this is Turbo Granny steering the wheel. What are you doing, Turbo Granny? You're doing so well running along the walls, dodging their psychokinesis blasts, but for the last guy, you just run straight towards him. Obviously, you're gonna be one-shot if you make no effort to dodge. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't have fumbled like that. But more importantly, we get this passionate speech from Okarun about how he wants to save Momo because she was the only one to give him the time of day. The only one to stand up for him. The only one to see him as a human being. We're getting all hyped up to see him put his freak back on and destroy this last alien, but instead of the hero saving the girl, he gets hit by another blast and instantly gives up. Now, with how comically fast he surrenders after spewing out his entire character motivations, I wouldn't blame you for assuming that this was meant to be just a funny gag. However, this scene holds a lot more importance for Dandadan than you'd think, because it's here where we stray away from the cliche boy saves girl. What actually happens is that Momo awakens to her psychic powers, roundhouse kicks the last alien straight through the UFO, and actually saves Okarun from Turbo Granny's possession. We've basically reversed the roles here. We're seeing the first signs that Momo is meant to be that true protagonist. It's actually kind of interesting how this changes up the romance dynamic, because instead of Momo falling for Okarun because he saved her life, something we've seen over and over again, the reason she actually begins to catch feels is because Okarun accidentally repeats a quote from Momo's celebrity crush, Ken Takakura, and reveals that he even has the same name, Ken Takakura. Obviously, there's more reasons like their mutual interest in the occult, but it just makes that romance a little bit fresher when it all started from such a silly little reason that basically translates to, my high school crush is called Clint Eastwood. Anyway, at the end of the episode, we realize that Okarun still needs to defeat Turbo Granny to remove the curse and retrieve his banana organ. So in a way, he actually becomes the damsel in distress, or I guess more accurately, he becomes Momo's call to action. Okarun says that he's going to try and defeat Turbo Granny all by himself, but with Momo being the only one that can keep his curse under control, our hero steps up and answers his cry for help. If you think about it, even after they defeat Turbo Granny and Okarun gets his banana back, we soon find out that Okarun's crown jewels are still missing, which once again becomes a call to action to continue helping Okarun to chase after what is basically Dandadan's MacGuffins. 2 shiny golden MacGuffins. And that's how most arcs start, with a call to action towards Momo. not Okarun. Acrobatic Silky, Ira literally calls out to Momo to meet her in an abandoned building. Gigi's arc, Seiko tells Momo to go to Gigi's house to exercise it. Even the Serpo arc, where they all get caught into empty space and the Serpos are directly coming after Okarun's abilities, this is still a call to action for Momo to save Okarun and Ira by blocking out their awesome zone with her own psychic abilities, allowing them to break free. And let's not forget that the entire reason this story even happened is because Momo saw Okarun being bullied by his classmates, so she answered that call to action to help him. But it's not just Momo's role in the story that makes her the true protagonist. This is a battle shonen, so that means there's a lot of fights. You would think that Okarun, being the one with the cool transformations and the literal finishing move Full Throttle, he's the one that's the star of the fights, right? Well, even if Okarun is often the one that gets the final kill, Momo is the one that's the true MVP of the series. It's interesting how Okarun, being the UFO nerd, you would think that he would be the smart one of the group, the guy that's constantly reading about aliens, now using that knowledge to defeat said aliens. And while his knowledge does pop up every once in a while, he identifies the Flatwoods monster and I guess the Loch Ness monster as well, his knowledge only really amounts to giving the wiki writers a name to put down for their articles, and doesn't actually help at all in the fights. Okarun's role is actually more as the muscle of the group, using Turbo Granny's incredible speed to knock out several foes. But the reason he is ever able to go full throttle is all thanks to Momo, the actual brains of the group. For Acrobatic Silky and the Serpo Dover Demon Nessie, while Okarun is the one to knock them out, it's because of Momo's planning that Okarun was able to do anything. When they are all eaten by Silky, Momo was the one that helped them escape by setting her hair on fire using Ira's lighter, which she then uses her burnt hair to get all caught up in the rafters and trap her so Okarun has an easy target. When the alien fusion proves too tough to handle, Momo tricks them into imploding their arms by removing all the water around them, and then uses Ira's hair to build a wind tunnel for Okarun to obliterate them. Turbo Granny was the same, using the hot springs to slow down the giant crab, and using the train to drag Granny out of her territory and into Seiko's. But I think the coolest one is during the Flatwoods monster fight, where she tanks like several punches from it, all so that she can push herself outside the Torii Gate, allowing her to use the ghost burning talisman while also protecting Okarun. That final kill was all Momo, and it was sick as fuck. And this is ignoring all these smaller things that show off Momo's ingenuity. She's the first to realize that the black fog is what is poisoning them in the Flatwoods monster fight. When Ira is incapacitated during both Acrobatic Silky and Serpo arc, Momo uses her psychic abilities to both attempt to directly give her a cardiac massage and successfully resuscitate her when Ira drowned. When Okarun realizes that he can't swim in his Turbo Granny form, Momo once again uses her ability to turn Okarun into a high-speed motorboat. While there is no denying that she relies on her more powerful allies like Okarun, Seiko, and Ira, it's Momo's quick thinking that always gets the team out of hot water. And then there's Momo's actual relationship with Okarun. A lot of Okarun's character arc is him overcoming his low self-esteem via his newfound friendship with Momo. So many times he'll be overthinking, going, "Oh, I don't deserve to be her friend. We live in two different worlds. I'm just being a bother." In which, yeah, relatable, I hate myself too, but you can really see how Momo just knocks down all of Okarun's defensive walls. When Okarun walks past Momo at school because he's still uncertain about whether they're actually friends or not, she runs up to him and gives him a swift reminder that they're definitely BFFs. When Okarun tells Momo that she can ignore him after they defeat Turbo Granny, Momo quickly points out that he needs to stop assuming and pushing people away. When Okarun is getting jealous of Gigi, Momo leaves the two of them alone so that they can bond, giving Okarun that male friend that he never had. I think my favorite interaction between Momo and Okarun is their little goodbye tradition. After the Turbo Granny arc, when the two of them can finally go home, they're left pondering over what is the best way to say goodbye. still unsure about this weird new relationship that has formed between them. That is, until Momo cuts through all the agonizing thoughts with 3 simple words. What are they, you ask? Well, they're definitely not just a goodbye, nor an end to their story. Those 3 words are confirmation that Okarun won't be returning to his old life all alone. At the end of the day, asking who the true protagonist is a waste of time. The series isn't about one or the other, it's both of their journeys. All we need to know is that before these 2 go back home, one of them will always call out and simply say,